Okay, as we get started, I'm Ann Welton. I'm the president of the Wake Forest Area Chamber of Commerce, and I have the pleasure of working with entrepreneurs of all ages, young entrepreneurs, students, as well as business people who have opened their own businesses. And there is so much to being a business owner, and I'm very excited to have you all participating in our Young Entrepreneurs Fair because you're going to learn so much and have so much fun. So, we're going to start in just a brief recap of what we went over 2 weeks ago, parts of a business plan. Do you remember we talked about what's your big idea? What's your product? You have to be manufacturing something so that you can sell it. So I know all of you have been working very hard coming up with a big idea and something or several items that you're planning on selling at the fair. Now, I hope that you've thought through also your target market for your products. Who do you think is going to buy them? Because you want to make sure that you're creating a product that you actually have an audience for and that people will spend money on. The whole point of being in business is getting people to buy your product. So you want to make sure you are matching your product with the people that are there to buy it. What's the name of your business? I hope you've had fun with this one. It's really fun to come up with a creative name for your business. You can have anything at all. It's just fun to name it because it's important. And I hope you learned from our previous workshop that it's very important to learn how much it's going to cost to make your products because you can't make money if you don't know how much it's going to cost to actually produce them. So if you need any help with that part of your business plan and your pricing, reach back out to me because we can talk through it. And then you need to think about how much you can sell them for. So you're thinking if it costs you $5 to make your product and you can sell them for $10, then you're making a $5 profit. That's wonderful. But if it costs you $9 to make your product and you can sell it for $10, is that a very good profit margin and is that worth your time? Something to think about. And what are your total profit goals for the Young Entrepreneurs Fair? It's very important in many things in life to have a goal. You want to leave the fair with $100 in your pocket or $50 or more than that, whatever it is. You need to do the math and figure out how many items you need to sell and what your profit margin needs to be in order to leave the fair with the goal money that you have. All very, very important to take seriously because that's what a business person does. So, marketing is part of your business plan. You may not have realized it as you were working through your business plan a couple of weeks ago, but marketing is part of writing a business plan. There are 4 P's to marketing, and you've already thought of 3 of them: product, pricing, and place. The product is what you're manufacturing, whether it's a jewelry, a candle, a piece of artwork, whatever it might be, that's your product. The price we've already talked about, and we did a couple of weeks ago. How much does it cost to create the product? How much can you sell it for? So that pricing is very, very important. Place, that's easy. Your place is the Young Entrepreneurs Fair. So that's what you know where you're going to sell your product. But the promotion is the 1 P that we haven't really talked about yet. And that's what we're going to talk about this evening. So what is marketing anyway? Anybody have an idea? All right, well, I'll just keep talking, but feel free to jump in if you ever want to. Marketing is promotion. It's how a business communicates to sell its products. Fancy word for just telling people what you have to sell. So let's think of some examples of marketing. And this is a good opportunity for you all to jump in if you have an idea. TV and radio commercials. When you were little, did you watch Saturday morning cartoons on TV? And did you see commercials for toys and cereal and candy and all the kinds of things that kids love? Well, that's an example of marketing to a target market.
Maybe you could do
What?
posters or some sort.
That's what I was gonna say.
What, I missed it? Say it again.
Maybe like posters or like some sort of like paper and like hanging them up.
Absolutely. That's a good example. Flyers. I'm sure when you're in school and people are trying to get you to do something, you'll see marketing examples in posters and flyers and that sort of thing. That's
Like
absolutely.
my mom's a realtor, so we deliver flyers for her all the time.
There you go. Bingo. That's a perfect example. Newspaper and magazine ads are also another example of marketing. People are using fewer and fewer newspapers, but people still read magazines. Postcards and coupons are mailed to people's homes. I bet you see those sitting on your kitchen counter from time to time. It's called direct mail when they send you a postcard and it says, try this product or try our service. And they do that all the time to try to get you to give them a call from what they mail into your home. Posts of all kinds on social media. I'll have to admit, I buy things when I see an ad on Instagram or Facebook, if it's a product I like or that I want to try. So people are really using social media a lot for marketing. Then ads on Facebook, Instagram, social media. I forgot I already had that. Billboards, that's something you don't think about maybe, but when you're driving around Wake Forest or into Raleigh, you'll see lots of billboards on Capitol Boulevard, and they'll be advertising all kinds of things. And again, it's just a form of marketing. It's a way of increasing awareness for the company and their product, all with the intention of getting people to eventually spend money and buy something from that company. Oh, one more, free samples in stores. We don't used to be you could go to Sam's Club or Costco or lots of different grocery stores on a Saturday and you could practically eat lunch there because they were giving away so many tests. With the pandemic, they're not giving away free samples quite as frequently as they used to, but that was another really great form of marketing of getting people to try your product. So there you can see here lots and lots of examples of different ways that people and companies market to their target market. So let's think about some businesses that are really, really good at marketing. I got a couple of examples and you all can pipe up with some other ones as you think about it. Who's that?
Apple.
Apple, exactly. Do you think they're really good at marketing and getting people to buy their products?
Yes.
Definitely. McDonald's.
They're so good that these are such good marketers that they don't even have to put the name of their company. We just know immediately from seeing their logo exactly who it is. Who's that?
Starbucks.
Another great one.
Target. Hurricanes.
Carolina Hurricanes.
Yep.
Carolina Hurricanes.
So all of these, now they're very different companies. Apple is a technology company. Obviously McDonald's and Starbucks are food service. Target's a department store. And then the Hurricanes are, a sports team. But they're all excellent at getting their company top of mind in your thoughts. They're really, really good at getting people to think about them when they're making a choice about where to eat or what product to buy or where to shop. So this is what we want to get really good at as business people and entrepreneurs. We want to make sure that people are thinking about us. So marketing for something as of the Young Entrepreneurs Fair, what we want are to get people to your booth, correct? Because they can't buy from you if they're not standing in front of you, seeing what you have to sell. So how can you do it? Here's some ideas I have, and you all might come up with some other ones that you are thinking about to get people to come. Your booth at the Young Entrepreneurs Fair is essentially your store. It's a small store, and you're going to have some people around you, but it is your store for the day. So how are you going to get people to come to your store for that one day? Here's some ideas. Talk it up. Tell your friends, your neighbors, your moms, your dads, your everybody to come visit you at the Young Entrepreneurs Fair. I'm going to have a store there. I'm going to have these great products. Please come and visit. And we talked about flyers just a minute ago. You could create some flyers saying with the name of your company, an idea of your products, something very clever, and you could print some and hand them out to your friends, your neighbors, your church, and you put them in mailboxes in your neighborhood. Again, telling people what you have to sell and where they can find it and buy it from you. And I'm not sure what kind of social media you all use, but there may be things that either you or your parents can do. If maybe your mom is on nextdoorneighbor.com, or I think it's called nextdoor.com, or there are Facebook, Wake Forest community pages. There are all kinds of things that you can do using social media that will also say, hey, we're going to be at this event selling these products. Come see us. It's a great opportunity to buy some fabulous, creative, one-of-a-kind products. So getting the word out before the event is marketing. That's the same thing as Target saying we're having a sale this weekend. Come in and see what we've got. It's the same thing as any business that's promoting what they have to sell. You don't wait for people to walk into your business. You market to them in the hopes that they will come into your business. And you know what? I am not monitoring chat. I see a whole lot of, no, yeah, you're not allowed to put anything in mailboxes. So you can make flyers, but you are technically not supposed to put them inside people's mailboxes. So sorry. Occasionally I'll look at chat, but it's hard for me to do the presentation and monitor chat at the same time. So I'll come back to that in a minute. Let's see, where was I? So how are you going to stand out in the Young Entrepreneurs Fair? We've got about 30 students who are participating. So that's a lot of competition. Now, you are not all making the same products, but you are going to have to do something to get people to come to your booth and pay attention to what you have to sell, as opposed to someone who's in the booth next to you or down the row. Basically, you're going to have competition. So you need to think about this. How are you going to get people to come to your booth? Well, that's the question we just asked. Think about your branding. Think about, we just looked at those logos. Target's colors are red and white. McDonald's has the golden arches. Starbucks has that green and white. But what are your colors? Do you have a theme? Do you have a name for your business? Do you have a theme for your branding and your colors? An idea that's going to be cohesive and create a look and feel for you and your business throughout the entire fair and going forward. And also, what will appeal to your target market? Are you using soft, pretty pastel colors because you're selling bath products and you want people to think about calm, serenity, soft things because they like to do that when they're taking a bubble bath? Or are you using bright neon colors because you're selling something that takes a lot of energy and you really want to appeal to people who are buying something in that front? So thinking about your product and your target market really should help you think about your branding and your design. All right, think about this. You're going to be outside and you're going to have, we're going to provide a table and chairs for you. You and your parents are going to need to bring a pop-up tent to cover your table and chairs. And then everything else is up to you. So what are you going to do to take a plain white table and make it into an interesting small store? That's basically what we're talking about here. So think about your materials. Are you going to use signs? Are you going to create signs that have the name of your business on them? Do you have a backdrop that might hang behind you in the booth? Do you have a tablecloth or a table cover? If it's windy, because you're going to be outside, how will you keep everything in place? So these are all very specific questions that you need to have thought through and even practiced before the Young Entrepreneurs Fair. I highly recommend that you take a table and chairs and put it outside in your driveway or somewhere and put everything together so that you can see what your presentation is really going to look like, and also determine if there are other things that you need to think through. So when we get to the booth design, we need to think about, what is your marketing budget? Let's say you're selling your products for $10 each and you're making $5 profit on each one of those, going back to our earlier example. And you want to spend $50 on supplies for your booth design and your marketing. Well, you're going to have to sell a lot of products before you even break even if you spend that much money on your marketing supplies. So you really need to think through, your poster board, your markers, your tablecloths, I mean, all of the things that go into making your booth design great. What are they going to cost, and how many products are you going to have to sell in order to cover that cost before you start making money? Because going back to the very beginning, the whole reason we're young entrepreneurs is we want to be in business. And if we want to be in business, we want to make money. That's why we're doing it. So you want to think that through just the way we thought through our pricing plan 2 weeks ago. You need to make sure you understand what everything costs and what the requirements are before you make decisions on what you need to do. And you need to merchandise your booth like a real store. And I highly suggest that over the next, we've got about a month, a little more than a month. Go to some stores that sell products like the products that you're making and look at them very, very carefully. How are they displaying them? How do they get people to buy those same kinds of products in their stores? What kind of displays do they use? What colors do they use? What kind of signs do they have? There's no shame in taking an idea that someone else is using and putting your own twist on it and making it your own. But you can learn a lot if you go into a store and try to determine how they're merchandising their products and how they decided to do it. And in fact, talk to store owners. If you come down to downtown Wake Forest, we've got all kinds of small stores up and down White Street. It would be a great way to do some market research and really see how people are displaying what they're selling and what looks good and what makes sense to you and where people could have done a better job. Booth design, make every inch count. So again, like I said just a moment ago, practice laying out your product displays. You know, as a consumer, as someone who buys things, that if when you go into a store that's messy and it looks like things have just been thrown on a table, does that appeal to you? Does that make you want to spend your money there? Probably not. But if you go into a store that's got everything, it's so cute and all the merchandise is displayed neatly and there's really great signs and all of the things that go about making a good display, you're much more likely to spend some time there and to spend your money there, which is what we want these other customers to do. And take pictures and look at it as if you are a customer. Again, take other people's ideas and make them your own. It's a great way to learn. This is a great tip. Hide your extra merchandise. So let's say you're making, I'm just going to make this up. Let's say you're making candles and you've got a really great display at your booth with your 5 different kinds of candles. Well, you don't want to have your table just covered with every single candle that you've ever made. It's not going to make a good display. So you may want to have the ones on display very, very nicely put up on your table with all the kinds of things you think is great, and then have the rest neatly tucked in a box below your table. And when someone says, I'd like to buy the pink candle, you can reach underneath and pull that out and leave your display just the way you had it. That's just a suggestion. You don't have to do that, but do think about, you don't need to put on your booth and on your table every single item that you bring with you to sell at the fair. The Young Entrepreneurs Fair goes on for several hours. We're hoping that you're going to make sales throughout the day, so you'll want to have backup inventory that you can replace the ones that you've sold. So hide your extra merchandise and keep your displays tidy and appealing. Think big, be creative, and have fun. And this is so true. Creativity attracts customers. If you see somebody who's not put any effort into it and just has a sort of, as I said before, some of their merchandise just on a table and it's just sitting there, there's a really good chance people are just going to walk by. They're going to go to the booth that's colorful, that's got posters and balloons and signs and whatever is creating the energy there that really shows that they've put effort into it. Remember, this is your store for a day. So the effort that you put into making it great is going to attract customers for you. And here's another piece of reality we need to talk about. Consider your transportation. I don't think anybody on this call is old enough to drive, so chances are you've got parents that are willing to help you. but think about what you need to bring. So we are going to provide you with a table and chairs, but you are going to need a tent, and you are going to need the boxes to put your products in, all your marketing materials, your posters, your balloons, your signs, your whatever it is needs to come with you that morning. So you need to make sure that you have a vehicle that can carry all of that for you. Um, so it goes back to just the practicality of it all. You want to make sure that you've set your booth up for practice in your driveway and that it looks great. You want to make sure that everything fits into your mom or dad's car and that you can get everything there. Okay, before we go to some examples, I'm going to check chat really quickly. Yeah, you can ride your bike, but you can't carry anything. You're going to need to have transportation to carry all of your stuff. Okay, it looks like we really don't have any questions here. So we're good. I'm going to move on. This is a picture from a Young Entrepreneurs Fair we had a couple of years ago. You all may have come, it's 2018. Probably many of you came to Meet in the Street. It was a big festival that we used to have on the first Saturday in May every year, and we haven't been able to have it since the pandemic. That's why we're having the Young Entrepreneurs Fair at a different location this year. But this is just an example of how things were set up as we got into the Young Entrepreneurs Fair. But I'm going to show you some real examples of students who have put together their booths. So this is the Brownie booth. Now look hard at this. Look how darling they are. And I love this sign. I'm going to put down. You can see the flavors of their brownies. They've got triple chocolate, they got M&Ms, and they have peppermint. And they have their pricing right there, front and center. So as a customer comes up, they know that they can get one brownie for $3 and two brownies for $5. They've got it all bright and cheerful, and it's a booth that you'd want to visit. And you know immediately what they have to sell, how much they cost. It's a great example of great communication of their store. Easy to see the pricing. What's good about this booth? Well, I think there's a lot of things that are great about this booth. I love the creativity of the sign, JL's Creations, I think is the name of it. Yep. It's very neat and tidy. You can see how the merchandise is all laid out in a very, very, in straight lines, so you know exactly what's going on. Oops. Well, that was JL's Creations. What's good with this booth? Maggie's Treats for All. Again, can you see her sign? She's got cookies, she's got granola, she's got all kinds of things that she's made. She's got really nice signs, and it's all so organized, and see how symmetrical it is? She's got her products in baskets. They're wrapped really nicely, and the sign, she's got dog treats, she's got a little bit of everything, but her display is just lovely. And even her t-shirt goes with her theme of sweet. So she planned her outfit to go with her display, and you can tell she really thought through it. She had the signs made, and she really knew exactly what she was going to market with. What's good about this booth? Well, I'll tell you what I think. They got a very fancy professional banner made. So this isn't just a poster board. They had somebody invest in them so they could get an actual banner. These are a group of cousins, actually. So the name of their business was Just Clean Cousins. And all of the things that they manufactured were things that you can use to get clean. They had laundry detergent, they had soap, they had bubble bath, they had all kinds of different things. They had matching t-shirts for all the salespeople. I thought that was a great touch. Again, it was an investment, a budget item that you may or may not want to do, but it really let the visitors know who was working that booth and who they could talk to and whose booth that belonged to. They had really nice packaging for all their products. They worked really hard to make sure that they all looked really good labels and good packaging. And this is something I wanted to point out with our multi-level displays. So they, excuse me?
Sorry, that was my brother accidentally unmuted.
Oh, okay. They had some things right on the table, and then you can see the small stands that they had. So they had several levels for their displays. So this way they could have a lot of their merchandise shown all at once because they didn't have it all just on one level on their table. Now, this is a friend of mine whose daughter, Olivia, this is her booth called Oh So Cute. And look how much effort she put into this. She hand sewed all of those flags that are going across the table in the front and across the top of her booth. Her booth was all, well, you can see, I can tell exactly all the products she had, but many of them were hand sewn and very crafty. Olivia is a very crafty girl. She's now in high school, and I just want to brag about her a little bit. She got started doing these sorts of things, and now she has her very own online store on Etsy. So she's gotten so good at making her products and selling them that 4 years later, she really is an entrepreneur. She has her own online store, and people are buying things from her. So this is could be the beginning of a great success story for you. But her creative decor really reflects the products that she had. She has hand sewn flags that reflect the hand sewn products that she's selling. It was color coordinated. You can tell she put a lot of effort into, look at the tablecloth. There's 3 different colors of tablecloth that matches the colors in her flags. I mean, she worked really hard on that, obviously. And again, a multi-level display creates interest in her products. It makes you, don't you just kind of want to go over there and pick things up and see what she's selling and what has she got that's going on? So Olivia did a really nice job with that. This slide actually has a gold star on it because that year we gave prizes for the most creative booth display, and Olivia won that for her booth. So you can see. But you know, comparing to some of the booths that we just looked at, there some of them weren't as fancy as Olivia's, and that's perfectly okay. The brownies that we saw at the very beginning were handwritten on poster board, but it was very clear and we could understand what she was selling. The pricing was right there, and it was bright and cheerful. So you can choose to do a wide variety of things in your booth, but the point of today is to make sure that you've thought it through. And don't wait until the Friday before. You want to make sure you know what your booth is going to look like and what materials you need to make it look great, and take your time in creating your booth display because that's just as important as creating the products. So good marketing brings customers to you. We talked about this, whether it's a flyer or an ad or a coupon or anything in the world that's alerting you to something that you might want to buy. That's marketing. But what happens after you do the marketing? Sales. So this is the end product. We want to sell. You want to sell. You want to have people come and give you money for the products that you've made. So let's talk about how to be a good salesperson. What not to do. I like to start with this. Do not eat in your booth. So you're going to be there for a long day, and there are going to be times that you need to take a break, and you can share the responsibility with a friend or a parent or whatever you may need to do when you need to go to the restroom or whatever you need to do. But one of the things that's very unappealing to a customer is coming up to a salesperson who's eating a plate of French fries or whatever it may be. It's not professional, so you don't want to do that. You don't want to just be talking to your friends and ignoring your customers. You want to make sure that you provide excellent customer service, which means when a customer approaches your booth, you drop everything and you give them your full attention. And you certainly don't want to be standing there playing on your phone or texting or doing whatever it is and ignoring your customers. So all of these distractions that will keep you from giving your customers your 100% attention, you don't want to do. What do you want to do? First thing you want to do is smile. You want to make sure that they feel so welcome and that you are so happy that they're visiting you in your booth. Make eye contact and greet them. Hello, how are you today? Isn't this a great day? Whatever your personality is, you need to make sure that that shines, because people will buy things from people who are better salespeople. And again, you're going to have about 30 different booths there, people selling all different kinds of products, and you want to make sure that you're shining and doing the best that you can to get them to buy from you. Be sure you tell them what you're selling. Sometimes they don't really understand that this is an all natural soy-based candle, or this is a bath product that does wonderfully in the bath, or this is a pet treat that all dogs love, or whatever it is that you're promoting. Be sure that you can really talk about it and sell it. Recommend certain items. Oh, are you looking for a gift for your mother for Mother's Day? May I recommend this? Those are the kinds of things that turn a person into a great salesperson. And then certainly ask if they have questions. Do you have any questions about how it's made? Do you have any questions about what the ingredients are? Engage them in conversation, and they are going to be much more likely to buy from you. I got a great example from a young man who I think was 9 at a Young Entrepreneurs Fair a couple years ago. And he had made the cutest, literally, he made these little Lego sculptures and glued a magnet on the back of them and sold them as refrigerator magnets. It wasn't very remarkable, really, but he was the best salesman I have ever seen in my entire life. Every single person that walked by, he would jump out in the front of his booth and say, "Hey, do you want me to show you what I made?" He was so engaging and so proud of the products that he had made. He sold out and had to shut down his booth because he had nothing left to sell hours before the fair was over. So I'm just suggesting that, thinking that through as well, making sure that you're proud of your products and your booth and your marketing. And then when you get the opportunity to make that sale, close it. Make sure you take care of your customers with enthusiasm. And I will see you at the Young Entrepreneurs Fair on Saturday, May 1st. So I'm going to stop sharing right now so I can see all of you all again. Does anybody have any questions or concerns that we can go through while we're all here? Because we got plenty of time. Can we have music? That's a great question. It's going to be outside. So I don't want to say no. There's going to be a lot of people kind of right next to each other. So you wouldn't want to have really loud music that made it difficult to talk over, because I think that would be distracting. But if you wanted to have some background music that kind of set a mood for your booth, I think that would be okay. The tables will be 6 feet long, and you'll have a couple chairs.
Is it okay if we bring extra tables?
You're going to have a very specific space for your booth that's only going to be 10 feet wide. So you're not going to have that much room. So you can bring an extra table if you wanted to have one like behind you to store your extra merchandise. But you're not going to have as much room to go sideways. I'm sorry, let me open up chat again.
It's the fair again.
I beg your pardon?
When is the fair?
Saturday, May 1st.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. And no, tents will not be provided. So you all need to, a lot of families have those pop-up tents that are just 10 by 10. All it is a tent and some poles that can sit on you're going to be on the tennis courts at Flaherty Park. If you all have been there on North White Street, there's a whole set of pickleball courts, and then there's a bunch of tennis courts. And we're going to have you all set up on the second set of tennis courts. So you'll be a nice flat surface. You don't have to worry about being on a grass or a hill. But if it's raining or really hot, you're definitely going to want a tent. Oh, is anyone else making candles? We have, as I said earlier, about 30 students that were going to be participating. So there's a wide variety of products and merchandise that people are creating. So clearly we have just a very small group here this evening, so there are a lot of people who are participating in the fair that are not here tonight. Okay, well, I hope that your stuffed animal alpacas sell. What else? Any other questions? First of all, I mean, the goal, of course, if you're going to be in business, is to make money. But second of all, is to have fun. I hope I haven't made it so serious that you don't think you're going to have fun. You'll have a really great time. It's fun to make the products. It's fun to set up your booth. It's fun to sell it. And what's really fun is to go home with a pocket full of money as well, because that's the goal of being in business. So I hope you have fun with the whole process. I am, again, your parents, if you don't, your parents have all of my contact information. So if you've got any questions, you are welcome to email me or call me as you need to, because we really are just a little bit more than a month away. So you want to make sure, yes, Ella, you can design your space however makes it work the best for you. Well, there you go. You make books, and when you did it, you broke the well, wonderful. See, this is an entrepreneur, absolutely. So there are lots and lots of opportunities. We're hoping that we're really going to work hard to create good traffic for you all. So there are a lot of people that come that are looking for the kinds of products that you all are selling. So you'll have a successful day. But you also can help. As we talked about earlier, um, encouraging your friends and your neighbors and your parents and your cousins and all the people you know to come to the event to shop not only from your booth, but to shop from your friends' booths and the other young entrepreneurs is going to help everybody. The more people that we can get to come to the event, the better all of the entrepreneurs are going to do. So please help me out on that. We're going to do everything that we can here at the Chamber, but you know a lot of people that I don't know. So if you can encourage them to come that day, even if they just stay for a little while, I think that'll help all of us. I'm so glad you all decided to join us. I did record this, and so I will send it back out. So if you've got any questions, or if you want to look at the examples of the other students' booths that we had a couple years ago, or any of the other pieces of it, feel free to watch it again. And again, I'm Ann Welton, and I am so happy to answer your questions and help if you need help over the next month. So I'll be in touch with all the details of when you can set up your booth and what you need to bring, and we'll get all that taken care of in the next couple of weeks so you can be very, very organized. Well, you all have a great evening. Thanks so much for being here, and I can't wait to see you on May 1st.